from now, they spoke about karma in the context of Yasin Malik, maybe even in the context of Vadra Congress leader Navjot Singh Sidhu, who could be surrendering in court 34 years back. Sidhu, in an act of rage, attacked and ended up killing a 65-year-old man. He goes to jail for 1 year. Let's debate.
Top Congress leader and a favourite of the Vadra Gandhis, Navjot Singh Sidhu thought nothing could touch him as he sat atop an elephant in Patiala this morning. Get away after beating a 65-year-old man in 1988 by saying, "There is no conclusive evidence to show my single fist blow led to the death of a 65-year-old man in a 1988 road rage case." The Congress leader thought he could get away with a Rs 1,000 fine and the passing of 34 years since the incident where he bet an aged man in a parking lot. But the courts of law had other plans.
जिसके खिलाफ पीड़ित परिवार ने पुनर्विचार याचिका दाखिल की, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसको एंटरटेन किया और आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट के माननीय जजों ने इनकी पुनर्याचिका को स्वीकार करते हुए जो पीड़ित परिवार है श्री नवजोत सिद्धू को 1 साल की रिगरस इम्प्रिजनमेंट देने का आदेश दिया है.
It was in 1988 that in a case of road rage, Navjot Singh Sidhu hit a 65-year-old Gurnam Singh, leading to his death. An act of hitting admitted by Sidhu himself. The case went through various levels of the courts, but Sidhu got off lightly with a fine of just Rs 1,000. It's only in the review petition that the long arms of the law really caught up, and Sidhu is now going to serve a 1-year term of rigorous imprisonment after today's Supreme Court order.
Gurnam Singh's family fought for 34 years for justice to be served and finally breathed a sigh of relief.
हमें कभी ये नहीं लगा क्योंकि हमें उनकी पॉलिटिकल लेवल से कोई लेना देना नहीं था. अगर उन्होंने गुनाह किया उन्हें सज़ा मिलनी थी. हमें कि इस बात का कभी कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ा.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट पर भी विश्वास है जी, उस परमात्मा अकाल पुरख पर भी विश्वास है जी. ठीक है जी. जब 1000 का हुआ तो वहाँ माहौल देख लो, आज यहाँ देख लो. आज भी हम शुक्र कर रहे हैं गुरुद्वारा साहब जाके, चलो जो उनको मालिक को मंजूर है तो वो हुआ, तो वो कर दिया सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने.
The opposition is calling out Sidhu and the Vadra Congress.
देर दिल उस परिवार इंसाफ दी गल कर रहा सी, आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इंसाफ किया है.
आज देश के लोगों को इस बात पे विश्वास है, बड़ा आदमी कितना भी हो, समा कितना भी लग जाए, लेकिन गुनाह की सजा मिलती है. अगर आज नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू को सजा न मिलती तो परिवार के लोगों के और देश के मन में एक बात रहती कि जो आदमी टीवी चैनल पर आकर बड़े फक्र से बोल रहा है कि मैंने ये गुनाह किया, अब उसको भी सजा ना अगर देश में मिले तो लोगों का देश के कानून से विश्वास उठ जाता.
But those who held road shows, those who strategized with Sidhu and those who hailed Sidhu have gone silent. And the man who oozes love for the enemy nation,
प्यार अमन ते खुशहाली दा रूप बन के ओ मेरा यार दिलदार इमरान खान.
the boisterous Congress leader Sidhu has been compelled to face reality.
सिद्धू साहब लीगल रिकॉर्ड्स की रहेगा.
सिद्धू सर जिदा कोर्ट दा ऑर्डर आया है की कहना सर ऑर्डर के साथ क्या सुनाई.
नो कमेंट. देखिए क्या गिर गया.
It's going to be jail cells and not elephant rides anymore. Let's debate.
Talk about long battles for justice. Somebody who knows that well is Neelam Krishnamurthy. I want to go to her first. Mr. Grewal of the Shiromani Akali Dal and Kapil, welcome. Mr. Krishnamurthy, I mean, he almost thought he got away with it, you know. There was that arrogance in Sidhu. And he said, yes, if he's killed a person, he thought, yes, I've killed a person. I'll pay 1,000 rupees and I'll get away. I don't think he would have expected this. But what does it mean for our system? It gives us a lot of hope about the system as well, about the judicial system.
Well, I can say that after having waited for 25 years and the kind of justice I've got, I think all this while I've always felt delay in justice is injustice. And hats off to this family that they somehow managed to sustain for 33 years. I say the kind of perseverance they had. There can never be a closure as such, Arnab, but yes, there will be a judicial closure for the family. And I hope this is not just applicable to one case. This should be applicable for other cases, because I was going through the judgment and I saw what the judges have had to say for the victims. They said the system pays no attention to the injured feeling, and they have to keep even the victims in mind, because a light punishment humiliates and frustrates the victims of the crime when the offender goes unpunished and is let off with a relatively minor sentence. So I want to know, is it going to be restricted only such high-profile cases, or will it also be, this for the other cases, for ordinary citizens in this country? And I just hope it is just not that they take 33 years to decide this case. I think this should have been decided, if not more, maybe 1 or 2 years. But it's taken more than 3 decades. But yes, this man has finally been sent behind bars, which is it's a good deterrence, it's a good message to the society that no matter how high you are, the law of the land is the same for each and every one.
True.
And I hope it actually extends that way. It just doesn't be restricted only to the high-flying people.
It should also be a moment of reckoning for the Vadra Congress, I think, Mr. Grewal, because after all, they knew. Priyanka Vadra knew, Rahul Gandhi knew, Sonia Gandhi knew that the person they are promoting is guilty of killing a 65-year-old man in a fit of anger. Gussa aa gaya, maar diya. They knew about it. Did they not know about it, Mr. Grewal? Many people today are surprised. Many people didn't know this side of Sidhu. But I'm sure the Congress knew.
Arnab, I would like to respond to you, if you allow me to take this question.
Can I just get Mr. Grewal's view and then I'll come to you? Yes, Mr. Grewal.
Sure.
Arnab, it was very well known that Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu is guilty of a serious offence, and he was convicted by the Honorable High Court. But I must say that the justice was denied to the complainant. Ultimately, today the justice prevailed and the system prevailed. Otherwise, it would have been a big setback for the system as well as faith of the people in the independent judiciary. Because the general impression was gathering that he can manage the thing and get the orders according to his wishes and convenience. But I'm happy that since I have not read the judgment in detail, I don't know whether this conviction is under Section 304 as was awarded in the High Court, or it's under 323. Because the earlier the Supreme Court converted that conviction into 323 and punished him only with a fine of 1,000.
No, this is carry on.
So at least we can say that there is a consolation that nobody can go unpunished, and whatever the social, political, and otherwise financial status of the person may be.
Yeah, and I don't want to make it. I don't want to make it political, but Kapil and Shehzad, Sidhu tried to make this political. He tried to make this political, didn't he? And at that point, I think the Congress should have stopped him, Kapil. And why is there no response to this from any of the Congress leaders today, please?
So, Arnab, let me respond by saying that if you're found on the wrong side of the law, you have consequences, and the Supreme Court order is an example of it. And if you see the response of Mr. Sidhu, I was checking his Twitter timeline. He bowed down to the order of the Supreme Court. There was no adverse comment made against the Supreme Court order. And having said that, I mean, I'm a little surprised you raising question on the Congress on this conviction order. Let me also tell you, Sidhu was acquitted by the trial court in 1999. In 2006, the High Court reversed the conviction. Sidhu joined BJP in 2004. In 2007, an appeal was filed against the High Court's conviction order. And let me tell you, it was late Mr. Jaitley who was representing Mr. Sidhu in the Supreme Court in that order. So BJP now questioning Congress on Mr. Sidhu's conviction is the hypocrisy of the highest order. That's all I have to say here.
What are you suggesting?
I am suggesting that there should not be any politics about it. In fact, he was a BJP member when the first court convicted Mr. Sidhu.
But now will you expel him from the party? He's now with you.
Let me also...
Will you expel him from the party now that he's been convicted and he's... No, will you now expel him from the party?
Let me respond.
No, will you
to
be
that.
indulgent towards him? Just answer that.
Let me respond to that.
He's not with the BJP today. Today he's with the Congress.
But who fought the appeal? Who was fighting the appeal in the Supreme Court for Mr. Sidhu? Who filed the appeal?
No, it was not the BJP. It was not the BJP. No. It was his advocate. No, one minute. I'll get. It was his lawyer. It was not the BJP. I'll get Shehzad to respond.
Was he?
No, but will you throw him out of the Congress now, or will you still? Will you welcome him back? Are you saying you're going to get him back?
Arnab,
you were going to make him chief minister a while back, Kapil.
By the way, Arnab, by the way, Salman Khurshid represents Asaram Bapu. Does that mean Congress party is defending Asaram Bapu? You know, these kinds of ridiculous arguments so late at night can be expected from a Rahul Gandhi supporter. But let me start by saying, Thoko Tali. I mean, no, at least partially justice has been delivered. Howsoever high you may be, the law is above you. Too little, but at least the justice has been delivered a little too late, I would say, in the day. But today the question is that why is there so much mourning in Pakistan, in Imran Khan's house and in the Vadra Gandhi household? I'm not understanding this common mourning that is taking place in parts of Pakistan, Imran Khan's household and in Vadra Congress. Maybe Kapil Madan can explain the connection. But having said that, I want to ask Kapil Madan now that he is a convicted, sentenced criminal, what are you waiting for to remove him from the party? I mean, his Pakistan parasti wasn't enough, him hugging Bajwa wasn't enough, him telling Imran Khan, tum mera bada bhai hai, main tumhara bhaijan hu, wasn't enough. He going and singing peens about Pakistan is not enough. But at least this conviction, after so many years, should be enough. So what is Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka? And look at the irony. Today Jakhar is, Arnab, just 10 seconds. Today Jakhar is in BJP and Mr. Sidhu will be in Tihar. This is the irony कि जिनको इन्होंने चुना ये भाई बहन ने वो तिहाड़ जाएगा और जिनको देश ने चुना है वो बीजेपी आएगा.
Well, you know, I think I've run short of time. It's really a something that the Vadras have got to think about. How do they end up backing these kind of people? I thank you all. Mr. Grewal, just a quick comment from you. Do you also agree that the Congress should show him the door, should throw him out?
Arnab, this comment was made by Mr. Sukhjinder Singh Randhawa, who was Deputy Chief Minister in the last government. He said to the press that it's a shame for the Congress they made such a man as a president of the party. It was on the electronic media in the evening in Punjabi. And he said Congress should not have committed this blunder making him a president.
Well, I think that says it all. It says it all. I think the Vadras must respond. And ladies and gentlemen, well, he's going to jail for beating a 65-year-old man to death on the road. That's what he's going to jail for. I shall see you tomorrow at 9. Good night and goodbye.